if I fundamentally believe that I'm unworthy of love, or that I'm bad, or that I'm trash, or whatever, well then why would I want to bring that forth? If that's what I fundamentally believe about myself. If I do bring that up, and then the person responds with empathy, responds with unconditional love, that's the antidote, right? That's the answer.
Loving as Christ loved, which that's the way that love ought to look. But then
Of course.
letting someone in, that we are, a lot of times, I think it was Fulton Sheen who said, like in dating and courtship, we kind of wear a mask almost.
Yeah.
And then in marriage, we take off those masks. And then because we have to be vulnerable.
Right.
And how important is vulnerability in a relationship, in a marriage?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of what a lifelong commitment looks like, I think it's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't put the mask on forever.
No.
I mean, at some point, you got to be able to let people come in and life together. Just the rub of life, right?
Yes.
I mean, you're living together. Little things annoy you. I mean, you have a bad day at work. I mean, all of those things. Do you always hide that, or are you opening up and allowing your spouse to be a real partner on this journey, a real helpmate, to be able to integrate and bring into those things? Now, obviously, it requires a certain level of awareness,
right?
And I think that's some of the challenge sometimes, is we just don't have the awareness of what those triggers or what those circumstances are that prevent us, or that kind of keep people arm's length. Most people don't do that intentionally.
Yeah.
It just kind of happens out of the way we've experienced love in our life, the way that we've experienced relationships, and we're just kind of conditioned a certain way.
Yeah, that condition, right? That I think that preventing that vulnerability and then putting up walls. That's a lot of times that comes out of, I think, a lot of pain that we've experienced.
Sure.
From previous relationships, our upbringing, maybe our family of origin,
peer relationships in school.
Exactly, all that you bring that into it,
all that.
And we keep those walls up. How can couples? If you ever notice, like, there's a lot of pain and the woundedness in a relationship that might be because of what the other has done to the other, or maybe some other thing like what we just said. How do they work through that?
I mean, as a counselor, I mean, I work through that by creating an environment in the counseling room where we create safety, and I'm trained to see what those things are, and so I'm trying to raise awareness, or to stop and say, okay, why don't you bring that out?
Yes.
But I'm a trained professional, and that I can kind of do that,
navigate through all.
And
that.
so then hope is in therapy that they're able to learn it in the it's kind of like a coaching session, learning it here in the classroom, in the office, and then that they can take it back home.
What are some roadblocks do you see that prevent people from that opening up and that vulnerability between the two of them, or working through those pain and that pain, that wound?
Worthiness,
yeah.
Shame. I mean, we can draw upon the work of Brene Brown here, who I think has written extensively on this regarding shame and vulnerability, and that shame exists. Shame is that barrier, right? If I fundamentally believe that I'm unworthy of love, or that I'm bad, or that I'm trash, or whatever, well then why would I want to bring that forth?
Yeah.
If that's what I fundamentally believe about myself. And it's an act of love. Like if I do bring that up, and then the person responds with empathy, responds with unconditional love, that's the antidote, right? That's the answer. So it's kind of a little bit of a conundrum, because the thing that I desire the most, it's the hardest to open up to be able to get that. Like it almost requires some sort of event, or some degree of awareness, and whatever that is. You have to have at least some understanding of what's happening with those patterns of relationship.